This video is brought to you by NordVPN. Start protecting yourself on the web by using the link below and save 77%. If you want to learn more about VPNs, we also actually made a whole video explaining how they work. I want to include a link to that in the description as well, so you can check that out if you're interested in learning more. Yakuza 3 Remastered was recently released in Japan and Asia for PlayStation 4 and not only brings the game to Sony's newest console, but also runs at 1080p and 60fps, or for PS4 Pro 4K resolution. Sega's chief creative officer Toshihiro Nagoshi explained that the remastered release is designed to target new overseas players who have joined the franchise over the years. Due to this, Yakuza 3 Remastered will be localized into Chinese and Korean for the first time, and Toshihiro also stated that no content will be cut in the overseas versions. Whilst not announced for a Western release yet, it is likely that this is something that will come in the future, and if the no-cut content policy remains, this is something that should please many Western fans. The original PS3 release of Yakuza 3 actually ended up facing many cuts for the English version, with estimates ranging from around 15% of the game being removed. The reason for this was said to be due to time constraints, and is something that Yakuza 3's producer later apologized for and said they will learn from, and then following all of this, later games would in fact not repeat this. However, despite the statements about the no-cut content overseas, this doesn't mean that there won't be content getting removed worldwide, including Japan. The game's producer Daisuke Sato explained back in May that there would be a few changes due to contract issues, as well as changing moral standards. To quote, "In addition to the resignation of some of the voice actors and actors' performance contracts, there are no changes in the game's storyline, system and battles, which brings an authentic experience. However, Yakuza is a work that was launched in 2009. Some things that were considered okay at that time are not as good as the current moral values. You know, Japan's social atmosphere has also changed a lot in recent years, so there has been slight changes in the performance of the game to match the current moral values and judgment standards. Now that the game is out, we have been able to discover what the producer meant by this and how the game was changed from the PS3 original. The first thing to point out is that the actors he mentioned being recast are a few of the hostesses from the Hostess Club's element of the game. The ones that couldn't be carried forward have been replaced with new hostesses from the Kiwami games. As for the moral related changes, the main one of these is the removal of a series of sub-stories involving a cross-dressing male. The cross-dresser takes a liking to you and will chase you down the street while screaming how much he wants you. These missions involve you having to run away from these situations without getting caught. Kazuma's dialogue at times will also poke fun at the cross-dressing character. Kazuma will also refer to the character as it, which is seen as highly offensive. It appears that this was seen as unsuitable for the present day, and so these missions were cut from the game. Another change that has been discovered is the Tamashiro family's clan crest, which, as shown on the left, originally bore a resemblance to the Japanese imperial flag. This has now been changed to the version on the right due to the flag being seen as offensive by some in some Asian countries due to its use in World War II. You may recall, for instance, how a rising sun motif was removed from the shoes of one of Persona 5's party members in Korea. The new Korean and Chinese localizations also likely helped influence this decision to change the crest. Something else worth pointing out is that the cigarette is now removed from the game's cover art in all regions. Whether this was due to any moral or regulatory reasons though is not currently known. Currently there have been no other moral related changes discovered, but there has been something else pretty notable cut from the new remastered release. This being the arcade machine Answer X Answer. This minigame involves you answering trivia questions about Japanese culture and history and has been completely removed from the new release, including over in Japan. The reason for this is not known, but it's possible that translating these questions was seen as too time consuming and Sega not wanting to cut content in other regions. It's also possible that there were some localization concerns, with many of the questions being based on Japanese culture and history. This may have been seen as too challenging for overseas players. What do you think of these changes made to the remastered version? Please let us know your thoughts in the comments below and consider subscribing if videos on game differences like this are something you are interested in. And until next time, thank you for watching.